I'm absolutely honored to introduce our next guest. We've had plenty of coaches and managers, usually a lot of MLS managers that we've had on the show. This is, I believe, our first Premier League manager. So I gotta have to be buttoned up, incredibly proper and appropriate, because I want to make sure by the end of this interview that he would like to come back on this show. But I absolutely honored to be joined by the manager of Brentford Football Club, Thomas Frank. Thank you so much for joining me, Thomas.
Thank you, Christian. Much appreciated.
It's an absolute honor. Obviously, we have to talk about the Premier League summer series. Brentford will be participating. I'm just curious, have you been a part of things like this before? Because as an American soccer fan, I've obviously seen a lot of Premier League clubs come and play here, and it's always it's an exciting time because you get to Brentford fans will finally be able to get to all meet each other in the U.S. because a lot of times fans are usually talking on Twitter, on social media, but then to be all in the same place at the same time. But have you been a part of anything like this before in your career? Heading to America to play in a preseason.
No, unfortunately not. So I'm really looking forward to it. I know the players are as well. As a club, we're looking forward to get over to you guys and hopefully show us from our best side.
Okay, you're going to be playing in obviously three different matches in Philadelphia, in Atlanta, and also in Maryland. Any particular city that you are like, oh, I want to make sure I see this or try this? I mean, obviously, when you think of Philadelphia, like Philly cheesesteak and all these other things, what have people been telling you the most that you have to try while you're in town?
Yeah, to be fair, I wanna focus on the football. But when I'm over there, I have to do a bit of sightseeing. We have to get out and explore the culture and history, and especially I think in Washington. I think that'll be big for me. To be fair,
Right.
I've been there before to watch the monuments and the historical areas, and I'll do that again. I'll actually make it mandatory for the players to do it, so they need a little bit of education, I think.
That is fair. Yeah, and I think have they earned that? I mean, it's been an incredible season for Brentford. I mean, you guys have been you've just obviously playing very, very well, and we've heard obviously the last game of the season. Obviously, you defeated Manchester City for a second time. Have the players earned a chill preseason, or are we being a little bit more strict with them so that they can prepare for the following season?
They have to earn a few days off in the off season. Then they need to work hard in the off season, and then in the preseason they have to work unbelievable hard,
Okay.
so we can go even
Okay.
higher next year. So unfortunately not. Maybe a little bit of a downtime on a day off in America. Maybe.
Okay, that is fair. All right, you are clearly a kind but strict manager, and so I appreciate that. I want to talk about your career a little bit. The one thing my producer gave me, highlighted this note about you, that you were an amateur footballer and never played professionally, but obviously came through in the coaching ranks in Denmark. This has been an interesting aspect when it comes to, I don't know if you know the manager in France, Will Still. And his story that he became, they keep highlighting that he, played football manager, and that is essentially how he became a real-time manager, which clearly there was more involved than that. But this idea of not playing professionally and then becoming a coach, is that a thing that maybe have you had to work a little harder or a little bit more to prove that to people that you are capable of doing such a job and handling those kind of responsibilities? Do people kind of look at your resume a little bit more thoroughly because of that?
Not anymore, but definitely, of course, in the beginning of my career, no doubt about that. To be fair, when I started coaching football close to 30 years ago, the first 10 years were grassroots football, just in loved coaching kids and young people. Really, really enjoyed it. And then I got professional full-time coach when I was around 30 years old. And then the last 19 years has been build my full-time job. But throughout that journey, it's not been, okay, I want to be a Premier League manager in the future. I just took it step by step, enjoyed my time, tried to do my best every single day, and then I was privileged enough to get offered the next job opportunities, and now I'm here in the Premier League, and that's a dream come true, definitely.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I came through the ranks just telling jokes in comedy clubs, and now I am interviewing a Premier League manager. Didn't think that this would happen with my life either. So it is an absolute honor.
I like that.
As well. You obviously coached the Denmark youth teams, and I'm interested in a little bit of that history. I don't know if you coached Christian Eriksen, but obviously I just out of curiosity. You did. Oh, perfect. So obviously with what we saw happen to him at the Euros, and obviously not only just for I'm sure someone who is a friend and a player that you've coached, but to see what happened, but obviously it was very, very tragic. But for him to come back and obviously playing out now at Manchester United and see, what happened with his life and career, what did it mean to you to now see him, playing again?
No, it's of course a fantastic story in many ways. I coached him in the under-17 national team for a year, and then, as you know, we got him back to play after that crazy situation. So he played for Brentford for 6 months, and then he moved on to Manchester United. So a crazy moment when he dropped literally dead to the ground, and they were all worried for that half an hour, how long it was before we got the good news that he didn't have any significantly injuries, and he could still carry on luckily. And then 6 months later, he decided he wants to play football again. And then I decided to give him a call. It was actually my son who told me, "Dad, why don't you give Christian a call?" Yeah, maybe you're right. And then I gave Christian a call, and he said, "Hi Thomas, hi Christian, how are you? I'm good." And then we spoke back and forth, and then he said, "I actually thought about you." He said, so I said, "Good, because I thought about you. So do you want to come and play for Brentford?" "Yeah, maybe." And then we started doing that.
That's, I mean, it's the roller coaster of emotions, and obviously that's absolutely beautiful story, and part of you are clearly a factor and part of his return to football. So that's absolutely incredible. I had mentioned the detail about Manchester City. I loved it in your press conference. You had a reporter had mentioned to you how do you feel about beating Manchester City twice, and you had mentioned that now you think Pep is going to be out for you in the next season. But what level of pride do you have necessarily about beating this, obviously the Premier League champions twice? And is there anything in particular when it comes to playing a team like that you prepare differently for Manchester City compared to some of the other clubs?
Yes, but I prepare differently to the 19 other clubs because they're all different small tweaks, different styles. So I need to prepare differently to every team. And it's the same amount of work that goes in to prepare for every team. But of course, we need to prepare for have the ball a little less against Man City and try to control their offensive strength and power, firepower. But of course, it's a fantastic story that we managed to beat them twice in the season, where they, in my opinion, hopefully win the triple. Because what a narrative it would be for our fans, and they will love the narrative of the world's best team and the triple winners. Manchester City is only little Brentford, the bus stop in Hounslow, they actually managed to beat them.
Yeah, is it when it comes to facing maybe them or just any other, obviously the big clubs with clearly lots of history, these strong fan bases. As a Premier League manager, is there any nerves? Is there anything in particular, like when you're sitting on the touchline in the technical area next to some of these managers, some of your counterparts? Has it settled in? Is there any I don't want to say like the not imposter syndrome kind of a thing, but is there a strong sense of self that, like, especially after getting these very big victories against these big teams, what does it do for the confidence of Thomas Frank?
First, of course, the first time in the Premier League last year, you against some of the bigger clubs or big names, maybe for 10 seconds I'm thinking, oh, that's quite cool that I'm playing against these guys. But 10 seconds into the game, it's just a battle, just one battle to win. I don't care who is on the other side. And when after those 10 seconds is only about winning and no respect, respect, but no fear. I'll put it that way. And does it give me more to win against the big six? Yeah, I guess it's nice, but basically, to be fair, it's 3 points. And if we then lose to a team in the bottom and don't get those 3 points, then that hurts us, just as much.
Of course. I want to ask on a more serious note. Obviously, we've seen the sort of the outcome with obviously your player with Ivan Toney. I'm curious about your relationship with the player and just simply having the conversation with him. Like, as a manager, as a coach, how do you I don't know if it's necessarily console the player but how does that what advice or what support do you give the player in a moment that's obviously very difficult personally and and obviously at the club level?
I try to give my support as much as I can, and support is to call him and speak with him about life and situation and going forward. I think it's more the uncertain things in life that is the most difficult things to deal with. Now he know the sanction and he's out for 8 months, and now it's just to progress and move forward and then support him along the way, and I'll do that.
Okay, yeah, it's I think for a lot of people, as I was watching and reading the story, I think the thing I appreciate is kind of the candidness of simply saying, like, yes, I was struggling with this problem and being kind of vulnerable about it. So it's something I applaud, I think, Ivan Toney for at least being very, very sincere about something like that, something that he was going through.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important we're all only human beings, and we all have ups and downs. So I think it's natural.
I agree. All right. So look, obviously the Premier League Summer Series is kicking off, and Brentford will be playing in 3 matches: one against Fulham, one against Brighton and Hove Albion, and the other is against Aston Villa. Any particular matchup that you are most excited about out of these 3?
No, not massively, but of course we're facing Fulham. That's a local rival, so we're looking forward to that game, definitely.
Okay, well, we spoke to Tim Ream about that game, and he's also quite excited about it. So it'd be great to see, obviously, those rivalries here in the U.S. So, Thomas Frank, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time. Best of luck in the Premier League Summer Series, and best of luck in the next season in the Premier League. Best of luck to you and all your players. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Christian. It's been a pleasure. Take care.